Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2024 ski test. Today we're talking about the Armada Locator 104. Great ski, still pretty darn new from Armada. I think we're entering the second season for the Locator, and a great example of kind of the new focus that Armada as a brand has on more directional skis. Between Locator and Declivity, we've got a lot of really cool skis in there. And I would say this Locator 104 is probably the most versatile of the Locator options. The 112 really feels like it's kind of pigeonholed as a powder ski, not necessarily in a bad way. The 96, on the other hand, at least to me, feels like it's more of a low snow touring ski, leaving this 104 right in the middle. And you guys probably know just as well as I do, 104 is a nice, versatile waist width. It's still relatively quick edge to edge. You're retaining good torsional stiffness, all that kind of stuff, but you get some good float too. So taking a closer look at this ski, starts with a Karuba wood core in here. It is very light. It's always just fascinating to me when I feel comfortable and confident doing this with a ski. Big, heavy ski with sharp edges. You will not see me throwing it up and down. So Karuba wood core in here, carbon reinforcements, and then we do get a layer of Titanal underfoot, really mostly for binding retention, but it does add some, at least vibration damping. I don't know if I would go as far as saying it's adding actual stability, but usually a lot of vibration damping will at least come through in the form of perceived more stability or perceived increased stability. So pretty cool construction. The weight is maybe the best thing about building a ski this way. Obviously it's designed for touring here, so you would expect it to be pretty light. 1,450 grams, and this is a 178, 104 underfoot. It's not a small ski, and that is impressively light in my opinion. Perhaps more surprising about Locators is they're reasonably strong too. I think as you kind of go up in width in the Locator line, they actually get a little bit stiffer, probably just because there's more material in there, and more material often makes something a little bit stiffer. But even this 104, like, this is not a weak, soft flexing ski by any means, which I think is super cool. And then looking at the shape, I mentioned that this is more of a directional shape, at least compared to what one might expect from Armada. Good amount of tip rocker in this ski, and we'll look at how the taper kind of pairs with that tip rocker in a second. There is definitely less tail rocker, so it does have that true directional nature, not necessarily designed to ski switch, land switch, anything like that. 22 meter turn radius in this ski as well. So that's a pretty big radius. It's a little bit bigger in the 112, which is interesting and makes sense because that ski is more focused on soft snow. You often see a bigger radius on more powder specific skis. But 22 is still pretty darn big for a ski that's 104 underfoot. And then I mentioned that taper shape. I think the tip taper is the most important thing here. It's less evident in the tail, and I think you feel it less too. So that's construction and shape. How does this thing ski? Very quick. I feel like there's a noticeable difference between the 112 and the 104. This ski is quicker edge to edge. It feels kind of quicker in how it like snaps off the tail and stuff like that. It is a little bit softer of a flex pattern, and I wonder if that plays into it. But it still has a very similar kind of surfy mentality with the long turn radius and that tip shape. Like, I said it about the 112, and I feel like it holds true with any of the Locator models. It kind of like looks like a surfboard. And I feel like there was definitely some inspiration from a surfboard shape when they designed this thing to give it that kind of surfy, smooth, maneuverable feel. Something that I think is cool and probably kind of not necessarily overlooked, but maybe not fully realized by people considering this ski, is with that long radius and with that flex pattern, it can handle some faster skiing too. So if you're looking to ski, like tour and ski some pretty steep, demanding lines, maybe some of it requires some mandatory or somewhat mandatory straight lines, I think the Locator 104 should be on your list. 112 too, that ski works really well. It's kind of just a matter of like how often are you in soft snow, and then moving to the 96, obviously you're not in soft snow very often at all. So that's the Locator 104. Really cool line of skis from Armada. You don't see a ton of them, which is interesting, and I wonder if it, similar to declivity lines, if it'll just take a little bit longer than some brands for people to realize what's going on here and kind of adopt it for themselves. So Locator 104, let us know if you have any questions about it, and we'll see you out there on the slopes.